In the landscape of modern music, global superstardom is typically manufactured through a familiar machinery: aggressive PR campaigns, trend-chasing production, English-language dominance, and the backing of massive Western record labels. Yet, one of the most astonishing musical conquests of the 21st century bypassed this machinery entirely. Dimash Qudaibergen, a classically trained singer from Octave, Kazakhstan, has built a massive, fiercely loyal global empire. He did not achieve this by conforming to the established rules of the Western pop industry. He achieved it by shattering them with an instrument of unparalleled power: his voice. His rise from a celebrated local talent in Central Asia to a global phenomenon capable of selling out arenas from New York to Shenzhen is a masterclass in the intersection of raw generational talent, the democratization of media in the digital age, and the universal language of human emotion. This is the story of how Dimash Qudaibergen conquered the world. To understand the Dimash phenomenon, one must look at the foundation upon which his explosive fame was built. Dimash was not an overnight success, nor was he an amateur who stumbled into the limelight. Born in 1994 into a family heavily steeped in music, both his parents, Kanat and Svetlana Aitbayev, are celebrated singers in Kazakhstan. His destiny was seemingly preordained. However, pedigree only provides opportunity. Discipline builds greatness. From the age of 5, Dimash was immersed in formal musical education, studying piano and vocals. This early immersion in classical training provided him with an acute understanding of musical theory, pitch, and vocal anatomy. He was simultaneously deeply rooted in the traditional music of his homeland, mastering the dombra, a traditional Kazakh two-stringed instrument, and singing traditional folk songs. This dual education, the rigorous, structured demands of classical and operatic training paired with the emotive storytelling traditions of Kazakh folk music, created a unique artistic hybrid. By the time he reached his late teens, he possessed a foundational technique that would allow him to stretch the boundaries of human vocal capability without destroying his vocal cords. His early victories in Eastern Europe and Central Asia, most notably winning the Grand Prix at the Slaviansky Bazaar in Vitebsk, Belarus in 2015, cemented his status as a prodigy in the post-Soviet cultural sphere. Yet, regional fame is vastly different from global conquest. For that, he needed a stage large enough to match his voice. The true turning point in Dimash's career, the moment the fuse was lit, occurred in January 2017 on a Chinese television show called Singer, formerly I Am a Singer. The show pitted established, highly respected vocalists against one another. Dimash entered as a 22-year-old wild card, virtually unknown to the Chinese public. His first performance on the show is now legendary. He chose SOS d'un terrien en detresse, a notoriously difficult French song originally performed by Daniel Balavoine. In less than 5 minutes, Dimash dismantled the audience's understanding of what the human voice could do. He transitioned seamlessly from a rich, resonant baritone to a piercing, angelic countertenor, culminating in whistle notes that seemed to defy physical limits. The visual of a young, charismatic Kazakh man delivering a vocal masterclass in French on a Chinese stage created an immediate visceral shockwave. The performance went violently viral. China, with its massive digital ecosystem, Weibo, WeChat, Bilibili, acted as a hyper-accelerator. He gained millions of followers in a matter of days. He wasn't just a contestant. He became an instant cultural icon in Asia, sweeping up awards like Best Asian Singer at China's top Chinese Music Awards. But the conquest did not stop at China's borders. Because of the sheer spectacle of his performances on Singer, which included covers of Vitas's Opera No. 2 and Queen's The Show Must Go On, clips began leaking across the Great Firewall onto YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. The global internet had found its new obsession. To dissect Dimash's global conquest, one must dissect the instrument itself. What makes his voice so compelling that it crosses cultural and linguistic boundaries so effortlessly? 1. The 6-octave range. Dimash possesses a vocal range that spans over 6 octaves and 1 note, stretching from the low, rumbling depths of a bass, D2, to the stratospheric heights of a soprano and into the whistle register, D8. While other singers possess vast ranges, Dimash's true anomaly is the quality and control he maintains at every extreme. 2. Seamless transitions and register blending. Many vocalists with wide ranges have distinct breaks between their chest voice, head voice, and falsetto. Dimash has mastered the art of passaggio, seamlessly blending his registers. He can jump from a booming chest note to a delicate, ethereal head voice in a fraction of a second without losing pitch or power. 3. The mastery of bel canto. His classical background allows him to utilize bel canto, beautiful singing techniques. This provides him with incredible breath control, allowing him to sustain powerful notes for astonishing lengths of time, often leaving audiences breathless just watching him. 4. Emotional phrasing. Technical perfection can sometimes feel cold or robotic. Dimash's true genius lies in his ability to use his technique as a vehicle for raw emotion. He uses microtones, traditional Kazakh vocal trills, and dynamic shifts in volume, from a whisper to a roar, to paint a vivid emotional picture, even if the listener doesn't understand a single word he is singing. Dimash's ascent perfectly coincided with, and heavily benefited from, a specific internet phenomenon, the YouTube reaction video. As clips of his Singer 2017 performances and subsequent concerts filtered onto YouTube, they caught the attention of vocal coaches, opera singers, music producers, and everyday music fans. His voice is, by design, shocking. It elicits dramatic, involuntary physical and emotional responses from first-time listeners. Jaws drop, tears fall, and experts pause videos in utter disbelief, trying to explain the biomechanics of what they just heard. This created a symbiotic relationship between Dimash and content creators. Reactors knew that a Dimash reaction video guaranteed high views and engagement, while their videos simultaneously served as free, highly effective global marketing for Dimash. When a trained opera singer or a seasoned heavy metal vocal coach breaks down his technique and declares him a once-in-a-lifetime talent, it provides a layer of immense credibility. The internet didn't just share his music, it validated it through thousands of independent, expert analyses. Historically, conquering the global music market required singing in English. Dimash defied this paradigm entirely. He sings in over a dozen languages, including Kazakh, Russian, Mandarin, English, French, Italian, and Spanish. Yet, his signature tracks are often in his native Kazakh or Russian, such as Didido, Love of Tired Swans, or Stranger. He proved that emotion is the ultimate universal language. Listeners in South America, North America, and Western Europe found themselves weeping to Kazakh folk songs. The sorrow, triumph, and passion in his delivery bypass the cognitive need for translation and strike directly at the listener's emotional core. This deep emotional connection birthed his fiercely loyal fanbase, known as the Deers. The Deers are not a typical pop fandom. They are characterized by their maturity, their international diversity, and their intense dedication. They operate as a decentralized, global PR firm. When Dimash releases a song, the Deers mobilize to translate the lyrics into dozens of languages, organize streaming parties, and coordinate charity events in his name. They follow him across the globe, turning his concerts in New York, London, and Dubai into international summits of fans from over 60 different countries. One of the most remarkable aspects of Dimash's conquest is how he has leveraged his fame to elevate his homeland. Rather than abandoning his roots to assimilate into the Western pop machine, he has turned the world's attention toward Kazakhstan. He frequently performs wearing modern interpretations of traditional Kazakh attire. He has made the dombra a staple of his massive arena rock shows, playing blistering, high-speed solos that rival any heavy metal guitarist. He insists on speaking Kazakh on international stages and encourages his global fans to learn the language. Consequently, thousands of Deers have taken up the study of the Kazakh language, history, and culture, and tourism to Kazakhstan has seen a measurable increase directly attributed to his influence. He acts as a one-man cultural ambassador, bridging the gap between East and West. In a world often divided by geopolitical tensions, Dimash's concerts are spaces of profound unity, where flags from opposing nations are waved side by side in mutual appreciation of his art. As his fame grew, Dimash faced the inevitable pressure to commercialize his sound. Major Western labels likely saw a lucrative opportunity to mold him into a mainstream pop star. However, Dimash chose the path of artistic independence. His collaboration with legendary Russian composer Igor Krutoy yielded massive hits in the post-Soviet sphere. Mademoiselle Hyde, No, Love of Tired Swans, providing him with grand cinematic compositions that match the scale of his voice. More recently, Dimash has taken heavy control over his own production and composition. He operates largely outside the traditional constraints of the music industry, relying on his massive, direct-to-consumer fanbase. This independence allows him to experiment wildly, blending classical opera crossover with electronic dance music, rock, and traditional folk, often within the same song. He does not have to worry about radio play or Spotify algorithms, because his audience is captive and guaranteed. Dimash Qudaibergen's conquest of the world is a testament to the fact that true, undeniable talent still has the power to cut through the noise of an oversaturated media landscape. He did not need a fabricated backstory, a manufactured controversy, or a catchy English hook to capture the world's attention. His strategy, if it can even be called that, was simply to be undeniably brilliant. By remaining deeply rooted in his culture, by treating his voice as an elite athlete treats their body, and by delivering performances of naked, unashamed emotional intensity, he bypassed the gatekeepers of the global music industry. Dimash proved that the world is hungry for spectacle, for mastery, and for music that makes them feel something profound. In doing so, he hasn't just carved out a niche for himself. He has established a musical empire, proving that a kid from Octave with a 6-octave range and a dombra can indeed conquer the world, simply by singing his truth.